Ralph Seppi Jr., film critic, filmmaker, artist. From the age of 5, Ralph Seppi Jr. has shown the world that he is the greatest visionary of the 21st century. He is the award-winning director of such classics as King Candy, a film he made when he was 17, and Lover, a student film he still hasn't released after 4 years. But now, Ralph Seppi Jr. brings you a new, groundbreaking series. A new series in which he recommends films he has seen to you peasants. Get on your knees, because it's time for Ralph Recommends. He'll recommend you films so obscure that you'll think he has a bigger penis because he's seen more foreign films than you.
So I'm thinking of starting this new series where I just talk about movies I like. That's crazy, right? Because Ralph can't enjoy anything. But the truth is, Ralph, the movie maker, actually enjoys a lot of films. They're just weird movies. I've started this new series because I know a lot of people want to hear about movies I like. And I'm going to give you what you want. So here is a series where Ralph recommends movies. And the series is called Ralph Recommends. Yeah, alliteration. I also have a cigar line around here. Dance of Reality is a film by Alejandro Jodorowsky. Spoiler warning. This is just my unscripted thoughts on the film and certain things I noticed. It's not a deep analysis or anything, but I think it's a good movie and I want to recommend it to you people. So I watched Holy Mountain. That's definitely Jodorowsky's, I think, most famous movie. It's considered his best. I would say it's his best too. There's El Topo, there's Santa Sangria, which is a really good movie as well. And then you have Dance of Reality, which I think is a really, really great movie. This cigar is so stupid. I don't even have the thing to cut off the tip. So Dance of Reality is an autobiographical film about Jodorowsky growing up. That's basically it. His father is played by his son in real life, Brontis Jodorowsky. And then Jodorowsky himself is in the film as, himself.
El dinero es como la sangre, da la vida si circula.
Very strange guy, to say the least, and he makes very strange movies. All the acting is fantastic. The actors really care and try really hard. They do things that most actors are not willing to do for their art. And that sort of passion is, I really respect it. And same thing goes for everybody. Like, everyone, you could tell everyone worked really hard, and everyone really cared about Jodorowsky's vision, and did everything they could to live up to it. And I think most of my issues with it, which are like purely technical, it's just mainly due to a limitation of budget, I think, and a limitation of him not understanding how to shoot digital. Like, I blame more the cinematographer for those kinds of things than I blame Jodorowsky. The costume design and production design is excellent, like it is in all of his movies. It's really well directed. The story is interesting, and it's told in this comical way that only Jodorowsky can pull off. Going back to his production design for a second, which I always think is interesting, it's this beautiful mix between a fantastical world and brutal reality, because usually the themes he's tackling in these movies are pretty serious. Usually pretty heavy stuff. You know, a huge allegory going on in this movie is fascism versus communism, and like being consumed by an ideology like Alejandro's father was with communism. And the movie's production design sets that up really well. The sets and the costumes are all very colorful and cartoonish and fantastical, but they're always set in like these slums, it looks like. When you look past all the stuff that was put there by set designers, it's all very ugly and brown and realistic. And that contrast is very interesting. He knows it's a movie, and he knows you know it's a movie, so he constantly breaks the fourth wall, and there's this constant intentional phoniness. There's no denying with this movie that there's some cheap looking, it just looks cheap, some of it. And it's mainly down to the camera he's using, I think, because it's It's not a poorly shot or lit movie at all. Like, when you actually look at the composition of everything and, like, the amount of extras he's able to get in one, you know, scene, it's really impressive stuff. There's some great, like, practical lighting, like when they're walking down the street with the torches. It just looks cheap because I think the way they shot it, they just shot it on a digital camera, and it kind of looks like a telenovela. Like, when you look at how they lit the movie, like this scene, where it's like this really bright, overexposed light on her. On film, that would look great, because on film, there's like this glow to it. Like you could see in Hateful Eight, because Tarantino shot that on film. You could see that... I mean, obviously I'm self-aware, but just me talking about Tarantino while holding a pipe in my hand, I feel like such a douchebag. Okay, how about let's make this a rule. Whenever I talk about Tarantino, I have to put the pipe down. That's too hipster. Tarantino uses bright top-down lights all the time. And it looks good, because it's film. He takes advantage of the fact that he's shooting on film. You know, and I think Jodorowsky's been shooting on film most of his films, his whole life. And then he switches to digital, and he lights it the same. This shit does not work unless you're using a Pro Mist. Buy your Pro Mist filters at Adorama.com. I'm gonna just start being sponsored. This episode's brought to you by Audible. This episode's brought to you by, it's Audible, and what's the other one? Squarespace. That's it. Squarespace. So guys, use your code Ralph the Movie Maker, and you get to make a free site with Squarespace. It looked cheaper than it should have. And most of the time, the movies, it's acceptable the way it looks, but then there's some lighting setups that look really cheap, like, in the barn with the blue light, the blue moonlight. That looked really, it just looked really cheap. There's a lot of inconsistencies with the period. They use non-period accurate weapons and stuff like that. That could be the point, because Jodorowsky's style is it's all allegorical. The movie's not supposed to be set in a time period. Time period's not really important. What's important is the emotion of the story. Alright. So the first third of this film is mainly about the son, or Jodorowsky himself, being a young boy, and he had like this blonde hair because apparently he's a reincarnation of his of her father. And so Jamie, his father, takes him and teaches him to be a man. He cuts off his hair, which is just, the scene is the barbers just take off his wig. Again, Jodorowsky breaking the fourth wall. Like, yeah, it's clearly a wig, right? So they're just gonna take the wig off. And then he forces him to go, say God's not real, there is no God, there's nothing after death. He forces him to look at, like, dead bodies. He tickles him and tells him, no son of mine would ever laugh if I tickled him. He toughens him up. He makes him, you know, a man, as he sees it. It was interesting to see, but toward the second third of the movie, it kind of shifts, and it becomes less about the son and more about Jamie, Jodorowsky. That he puts on this facade of a confident, strong man, but then we see his will slowly broken down over the course of the movie. There's a scene in the middle, like, I'd say the turning point of the movie. There's a bunch of refugees outside the city who are starving and ill, and then Jamie goes there to give them some water. But they kill the donkeys and then take the meat from the donkeys, and Jamie Jodorowsky ends up getting sick. And the only way to heal him is to piss on his face. Jodorowsky was Jewish, and a lot of people discriminated against him for that reason. And they made fun of his circumcised penis in one scene, when a bunch of kids are all jerking off pieces of wood that look like penises. And then his is different.
Tu diferencia nos distrae, Pinocho. Lárgate.
Judío judío feo.
There's constantly people throughout the film going like, oh, those damn Jews.
Aunque los judíos se vistan de bomberos, judíos se quedan.
There's a big portion of the film while Jamie Jodorowsky is off on his adventure, where Alejandro and his mother, Sarah, are just hanging out in the house, and Sarah teaches Alejandro how to become invisible. And I didn't see it so much as like being invisible, but like blending in. You have to blend in, you have to be a normal member of society that doesn't stand out at all. Hide your heritage. And I think that was a big part of Jodorowsky's childhood, perhaps, and that's what he's trying to say with that. He had to hide a lot of who he was. He had to toughen himself up for his father. He had to hide the fact that he was Jewish because people would discriminate against him. Jodorowsky gets a lot of his family members to be part of these movies. He got, well, his son is playing his father, but there's Aiden Jodorowsky. He plays one of the anarchists. There's Sister Belle Jodorowsky. He had his wife, Pascal, doing, like, costumes. She was the costume designer for it. I think he had one of his relatives doing the music. Yeah. He had Aiden Jodorowsky doing the music. Like, what a talented family. Jesus Christ. And the result is something really unique and special. I don't think it's for everybody. I think it's very weird. I think there's a lot going on in it, but I think it's a really interesting take on an autobiography. I never know the intention with Jodorowsky. If I think he's self-aware, and I think he designs these movies to be comedies, somewhat. They're supposed to be at least partly comedic. I mean, he has these actors doing crazy things, like pissing on each other and being naked. The stuff he puts his son through in this performance is honestly insane. Like, can you imagine directing your son to do that shit? But the end result, you know, shows. Everyone put a lot of hard work into this. Sarah, the actress who plays Sarah, Pamela Flores, she's terrific in this movie. And she has to sing the entire movie. Every line she has. That is not easy, and she pulls it off very well. So again, going back to his dreamlike logic, although he does call this autobiographical, and a lot of it is true, I'm guessing most of it's true. I'm sure all the characters are true, I'm sure the setting's true. I mean, he literally shot it in the town he grew up in. He reconstructed the house he used to live in the same spot, I believe, which is crazy, and then he just left the house there, and tourists get to explore it. But although there's a lot of factually true things about this movie, it's also a dream, because in real life, his mother was not this powerful woman. She wasn't singing opera every day. Apparently, his mother wanted to be an opera singer, and that's why he made her sing opera in it. Alejandro's father did not go to kill Ebenez. He said he wanted to do it, and he wrote a book about it. It's like therapy for him, this movie. It's like him confronting all of the shit from his childhood and making fiction out of it. And this portrayal of his life doesn't mirror reality 100%, but it mirrors the emotional journey his family went on while he was growing up. Apparently, the kid who played Alejandro Jodorowsky was not a professional actor. Jodorowsky has gone on record saying, "I hate actors, they are poison. You cannot be free with stars. Even when the actor doesn't want to be paid because they want to work with you, they still bring 10 persons, one who cuts the hair, one who brings their Big Mac, one who makes the massage." The guy's a fucking beast. But anyway, Jodorowsky casted this kid, this non-actor kid, to play him. And the kid's good. So if you watch this whole thing and you haven't seen the movie, it's great. It's really great, and you should totally check it out. There's a lot of other things to talk about with it, I feel. I think you could have a really long conversation about this movie once it's over. Anyway, that is this rendition of Ralph Recommends. I'll see you guys next time. Yeah, dude, I'm a filmmaker. Here, shooting my new short film that I'm never gonna finish. We got a crew. It's gonna be on HBO and no one's gonna watch it. But I'm a filmmaker, dude. I'm a fucking filmmaker, dude. Yeah, dude, I shoot everything on my phone. You don't need a T3i. Let me show you a graph to explain. See that camera? We don't shoot cameras like that. We're not like that. See, I like to have small crews because I want to be an indie filmmaker, because the more people involved in a production, the more hands are in it and the less creativity there is. So I'm just gonna shoot all my movies on my iPhone. Dude, I'm a fucking filmmaker, okay?